Hello and welcome to rhythm exercise group number 9. So we're going to continue with our 16th note use. This time we're going to pair them up in groups of 2 and connect them with single eighth notes. Now that's a mouthful right now, but if you look at the box in the top right corner of the page, you'll see what I'm talking about. And if you're unsure visually of what 16th notes and 8th notes look like, go back to the beginning of the book, page 21, I believe it is, where it just talks about, what 8th notes look like, what 16th notes look like, so that you can recognize them in one state or another. And then, of course, I'm going to describe them a bit here to help out. So the reason this warrants a little bit of explanation, even though, as you'll see, this is a single-page rhythm exercise group. This is a shorter one compared to the others. But sometimes people tend to flip these groupings. So there's only 2 ways that we're doing it. Either an 8th note followed by 2 16ths. So 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, like that. Or 2 16th notes followed by an 8th note. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I just did each of the rhythms in that little box repeated. Like that first beat I did several times, and it's an 8th note followed by 2 16th notes. And if you're not sure what I mean by that, study it visually. See if you can figure out why that first beat in that box on the left is an 8th followed by 2 16th notes. And you'll notice the key there is just the horizontal beaming, the lines that are going across that connect the stems, the vertical parts. Right? It's awkward to explain visually, but if you're looking at it, you'll see what I mean. And sometimes people tend to accidentally flip these 2 things. So just make sure you are noticing where there are 2 beams, which indicates 16ths, or a single beam, which indicates an 8th note. Another way of thinking of this, maybe a shorter, simpler, more effective way to think of it, if it helps you, is thinking of the 8th note as a long note, and in this context, the 16th notes as short notes. So instead of 1 and a 2 and a, it could be long, short, short, long, short, short. And if you're only dealing with 2 note lengths, a longer one and a shorter one, this works quite nicely. And so if you have 8th, 16th, 8th followed by a pair of 16ths, it's long, short, short. And if you have 2 16ths followed by an 8th, that second grouping, it's short, short, long. Right? Now let's look at rhythm, the etude number 67 right now. And it's got kind of like a little prep, like a here we go, or a 4 for nothing measure, if we're to use the parlance of technique classes, the prep measure as it's labeled. That's what we're going to do, is we're going to clap through this entire thing. And if you notice, including the repeat bar line, it's actually 9 measures in length. We have the first bar, and then we have the next 4 bars, which are done twice because of those little winged bar lines on them. We're going to start this at 66 beats per minute. And again, listen for precision in your own clapping. See if, as much as possible, you can line up on the head of the pin rhythmically, right? So if this pen were the beat you're trying to line up with, you're trying to come down right on top of it, as opposed to just kind of to either side, either a little early or a little late. So we're going to first do this at 66 beats per minute, and then we're going to go back and do it at 76 beats per minute. And of course, if you need to do these things over again, you always have the rewind function at your disposal in the video. Here we go. So starting at 66. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4. 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and that rest is there at the end to make sure that you're not just doing a sing-songy rhythm, but that you're also following the composition of it. Let's do that same one again at 76 beats per minute. A little faster. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4. And I left that count silent. I didn't count it out loud that first time around, just to help generate the musical effect of nothing going on. Right? Let's go on to number 68. So we're going to build on the one that we just did before by adding in some more instances of those rhythms, either the 1E and short, short, long, or long, short, short. And we're going to gradually start mixing them more comprehensively. This time, we're going to start after 4 clicks of the metronome. So I'm not going to count in verbally. So you're going to have to hear 4, and then we start and we're off to the races, so to speak. One, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. And 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. And those rests are in there to make sure that you're not forgetting to show silence and to acknowledge the difference between action and sound, or inaction and silence. Let's go to 76 beats per minute. So we'll do it again. 4 clicks and then we're in. So no verbal count off. You're going to hear 4 clicks and then we're in. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. And 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and. Hopefully that went well. Next, number 69. So we have our first 2 measures repeated, followed by the rest of the composition. And now we're getting rid of more and more of that padding, just the pairs of eighth notes to kind of get you ready for the next thing. So you have to be pretty nimble and make sure that your eyes are ahead of your hands. If you are looking at the thing that you're doing at the moment, chances are you're going to miss something. You're going to not have enough reaction time. Backing it down to 66 beats per minute. Let's do this all the way through. 4 beats to go from the metronome. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 E and 4 1 and a 2 and 3 E and 4 and 1 and a 2 E and 3 and a 4 E and 1 E and 2 and a 3 E and 4 and a 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 and a 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, repeat as needed. 76 beats per minute. If you need to label more of the counts, go ahead and do that. This will be the time to do it. 4 clicks to go. Number 69, 76 beats per minute. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 E and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 E and 4 and 1 and a 2 E and 3 and a 4 E and 1 E and 2 and a 3 E and 4 and a 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 and a 1. Number 70. Introducing space. Space requires a lot more internal activity, right? There's nothing, 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 and then when the something happens, you have to make sure that it is accurate and in the stream of time that you've been establishing. Just because there's silence doesn't mean there's time isn't still going on. So the counts in the rests are going to be crucial. And if you want to go and write those in, those would be some of the most important things that you would want to write in. There's less and less counts being provided to you in the book at this point because I'm going to assume you can do more of that on your own, right? And you can at the very least extrapolate from the rest of the page. Here we go. Number 70, 4 beats to go, 66 beats per minute. And there are no repeat bar lines here. One E and. 1 E and. 4 E and 1 and a. 1 and a. 4 and a. 2 E and. 4 E and. 2 and a. 4 and a 1. 2 E and 3 and a 4. That one specifically, the 4th and 5th measures, getting the 4th, 5th, and 6th measures to distinguish between the short, short, long and long, short, short. If you can get those confidently, then you can feel pretty comfortable that you know what you're doing with these rhythms. That's, if I were to boil down this whole page into the most important moment, probably be right there, because there's also silence in between, so you don't have momentum keeping track of things for you. You don't have your hands kind of doing some of the math for you. And you also can, when you're called upon, know how to start it. And as long as you can start it, you can do it again, right? That's a crucial thing. So making sure that you're looking at visual, the seemingly insignificant visual differences, which are all the things in the world. If we look at characters in the written English language, we could, look at, a couple different letters and go, well, they look kind of similar, right? Like the letter I and the letter L in some fonts, right? They look similar, but there's a big difference. And so you have to look for a small indication of which one it is. Context helps, but in this case, the context doesn't indicate which one it is. So you do have to look for that seemingly insignificant typeface difference, the visual presentation of it. All right, let's do number 70 at 76 beats per minute. 4 beats to go. Here we go. 1 E and. 1 E and. 4 E and. 1 and a. 1 and a. 4 and a. 2 E and. 4 E and. 2 and a. 4 and a 1. 2 E and 3 and a 4. Moving on, number 71. So we are finally in a different meter. We're chopping a beat out. And if you look at the relationship between 70 and 71, you'll notice that they're very similar, and that the thing that has been removed essentially is the silence, especially in the beginning parts. So a little less silence, a little less time to think about what's coming up, which means your eyes have to now be even more accustomed to being ahead of your hands. 66 beats per minute, number 71. 3 beats to go. 3 preparatory beats. There we go. 1 E and. 1 E and. 3 E and. 1 and a. 1 and a. 3 and a. 1 E and. 1 E and. 3 E and. 1 and a. 1 and a 3 and a 2 E and 3 E and 2 and a 3 and a 1 E and 2 and a 3 and 1 E and 2 and a 1 E and 2 and a 3 and 1 E and 2 and a. Notice I didn't give you a heads up about those repeat bar lines, right? So that's a detail that either you would have noticed because you were looking carefully before we started, or you're getting used to the notation and your eye just naturally noticed that and went back across the page. Number 71 at 76 beats per minute. 3 beats to go. Here we go. 1 E and 1 E and 3 E and 1 and a 1 and a 3 and a 2 E and 3 E and 2 and a 3 and a 1 E and 2 and a 3 and 1 E and 2 and a 3 1 E and 2 and a 3 and 1 E and 2 and a 3. All right, I'm going to do that one again because I want to make sure that I'm performing that accurately for you. So I'm going to do that one more time, taking both repeats properly, just to make sure that I'm doing this well. And you get another crack at it. Right? Here we go. One more time. 71 at 76 beats per minute. 3 beats to go. 1 E and 1 E and 3 E and 1 and a 1 and a 3 and a 1 E and 1 E and 3 E and 1 and a 1 and a 3 and a 2 E and 3 E and 2 and a 3 and a 1 E and 2 and a 3 and 1 E and 2 and a 1 E and 2 and a 3 and 1 E and 2 and a 3. Right? Hopefully that was clear to you. And again, as always, go back and review things. If you're not sure about them, review them until you can get that PRT and the 3X. You can get those knocked out, and so you can feel confident about that when you come back to this, whenever you end up coming back to it in the future. And I will see you next time.